Just ahead on American Black Journal, a Detroit nonprofit takes on the huge task of improving adult literacy. We'll learn how the group is changing thousands of lives. Plus, this year's Ford Freedom Awards celebrated minority entrepreneurs in the field of technology. We'll talk about their impact on the community and on the world. Stay right there. American Black Journal is next.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. A nonprofit organization called Reading Works is leading the charge to improve adult literacy rates in the Detroit area. It's estimated that 1 in 3 Michigan residents has poor reading and writing skills. So Reading Works has set an ambitious goal of enrolling 20,000 adults in literacy programs by the end of 2020. Not only will this effort change lives, it'll also help to strengthen the local workforce. I'm proud to sit on the board of directors for Reading Works, and joining me today is the group's Director of Program Outcomes, Kristen-Barnes Holiday. She's joined by Amy Amador, who's the Executive Director of the Mercy Education Project, which is one of the partner agencies, and Barbara Willis, COO of the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, is here to talk about a pilot project involving her organization and Reading Works. Welcome, all of you, to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen, I'm going to start with you. 20,000 people by 2020, that's just 5 years away. How close are we to that goal, and what do we need to do to get there?
Well, currently across 9 of our impact partner agencies, we're servicing 2,800 learners. While I know that it's
we need 10 times that many almost.
Absolutely.
Right?
While I know it's a very ambitious goal, we're certainly working towards it because that's the only way that true transformation happens.
Yeah.
And so.
And those 2,800 people who are participating, what kind of results are we already seeing when they are enrolled in these programs?
We're seeing a broad range of results. I guess I can say results from a mother coming in saying that she wants to be able to read to her child, and now she can read to her child, from a student who might come into a Mercy Education Project and they set a goal of graduating with the GED, and they actually graduate and get that GED and move towards sustaining themselves and their families.
And it's people from across the community. It's not just in Detroit, it's all over Southeast Michigan that people are going to the partner agencies and participating, right? Oh,
absolutely. We operate in the Detroit metropolitan region, currently operating in Wayne County and Macomb County.
Right. Tell me about your organization and what you're seeing from the people who come to participate there.
Sure. So Mercy Education Project has been around since 1992. We provide adult education services for women, everything from adult basic education to GED preparation, and then helping them make that next step to college or career. And we serve over 160 women per year. We have women who've come in at that very basic literacy level and seen them improve over the time and get their GED, and then go on to college, to job training, and be able to become employed to sustain themselves.
Right, and so you guys see from beginning to the end of this that it actually works and it makes a difference for people's lives.
It does. And sometimes people think, oh gosh, adults, they've already had their chance. But we see people who they really want to make an improvement in their lives, whether it's for their children, whether it's to improve themselves so they can get better employment. We see women who really want to do that, and they need that opportunity. We need more opportunities for people to do that.
Right. Detroit Rescue Mission has always been involved in these kinds of services and activities. Tell me about the role that Reading Works has been able to play in supporting organizations like Detroit Rescue Mission and in coordinating the kind of things that we're doing in the region with literacy.
Okay, a little background about the Rescue Mission. 1909, so 106 years that we've been in the business. We have shelters, transitional housing. We service about 1,800 people per day, men, women, and children. We have a detox unit. We have substance abuse. We serve veterans. So we're really all across the board in terms of the homeless.
Sure.
And thank God for Reading Works. Our homeless population, women and children, those are the ones that really grab your hearts.
Sure.
Women experiencing, some come in out of prostitution, some come in out of substance abuse. So there are all kinds of stories there, but Reading Works has partnered with us to start a pilot program, and it's actually a family plan, so that they're working not only with the mothers but with the children.
But with the children too, which
Right.
is the key, a real key to reducing adult literacy problems, is getting at it early before people develop those.
Right, and breaking that chain
Right.
that has just been going on for so many years.
Yeah.
So we're really happy that they've partnered with us. So the pilot program is going well. We enter into phase 2 in June, and they'll be going many more days. They're going 2 days a week now. They'll be going probably 3 to 4 days a week for the working with tutors. We have also folks working with the young children, and it's just a really, really good program.
Yeah. Kristen, I want to ask you some questions about the specifics of teaching adult learners. We know a lot about what works and what doesn't with people who didn't get the opportunity to develop their literacy skills as children. What are the obstacles, though, to getting more people to be able to do that?
I think there's tons of obstacles to get more people to be able to go to programs like Mercy Education Project, or to be a part of the program at St. Vincent Sarah Fisher through Detroit Rescue Mission. And just as Barbara has recently mentioned, you know, people have problems, challenges, prostitution. You know, they might have matriculated through the K-12 system, but didn't get all that they need.
Have a diploma, but still don't have
Absolutely, but still lack the skills.
Yeah.
And so I can personally say, with Reading Works, it was important for us to come together, not just as one organization, but 9 organizations across the Detroit metropolitan area, because certainly one voice operating under one umbrella is so much stronger than 9 individual voices.
Right. And how much time are we talking about when you have somebody who comes in and really just has maybe no more than a 3rd or 4th grade set of reading skills? How long before they can be considered more functionally literate?
We found that a person who comes in with a 3rd grade reading level, it takes about 3 years. Under the old GED to get their GED. Now the GED has changed just recently.
It's harder, right?
So it's going to take a little bit longer. We're seeing about 6 months more in order to get that GED, but 3 years. So it's not a quick fix.
I mean, I think that's important to note too. There are people out there who are selling quick fixes. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you can learn to read. We're finding that doesn't really work.
And the fact that the GED is online now, computer skills.
Right.
Right.
You need the computer skills to be able to just take the test.
Just to take the test or do the prep. And so, like Amy said, from a 3rd grade level, maybe 3 years, a year at least, just to prep them and bring them back into the mainstream.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Because that fear of working with computers is just unbelievable. Still, in this day and age, for some people.
Absolutely.
And Reading Works, you've brought in, I mean, there is a lot of attention to detail in terms of how we get people from that low level of literacy to higher levels. It's a very disciplined program.
Absolutely, but it's not one size fits all.
It's not one size fits all, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people believe that there is one
way
cure.
to teach everybody.
Yeah,
right?
to teach everybody, but certainly no. That's why we have 9 agencies who are focused in different areas, ranging from pre-GED and GED to adult basic education, where a student might be on the 1st grade reading level.
Right.
And so some students might need one-on-one tutoring, whereas other students might thrive in a classroom environment.
In a classroom setting, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What about the scale up that's necessary to get to that 20,000 number? What are the nuts and bolts of what we need to do to be able to reach that goal?
Well, forming more connectors. Like we have one connector in the Detroit Rescue Mission, and we need to form more connectors. Eventually, we'd like to add more partners, but as I'm sure these two ladies know, that takes funding to be able to do things of that sort. That doesn't mean that Reading Works stops just because we don't have the funding that we need to get the job done. But certainly adding more partners and making more connections with agencies in the community that need literacy needs.
Yeah, talk about the funding picture. How is that changing? What's interesting to me is that right now we're seeing a lot of investment come into Detroit that wasn't here before. I get the sense that not a lot of it, though, is getting to the agencies like yours, which deal with the people who have the greatest needs in the community.
Yeah, I haven't seen new funding for adult education. So Reading Works has been a great partner, being a part of that collaborative that has allowed us to do some new things like increasing our computer literacy for our students and adding another instructor. But there's not a lot of funding for adult education. It actually, at the school district level right now, there is discussion in conference committee about whether adult ed should even be funded.
Should even be part of K-12 funding, right? Right.
So that's pretty scary.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you've got, like I said in the open, 1 in 3 Michigan residents who struggles with this.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, Reading Works has just been a godsend for us. And we're in a pilot program right now, which we certainly hope to expand.
Yeah.
We're working with women and children. At the mission, we have programs for men with children, for veterans, just the whole spectrum. So we'd like to expand eventually to all of those areas.
I want to ask you, how important is it? You know, a lot of focus on literacy is about, hey, we need people to be able to work. We need people to be able to have good paying jobs. But there's so much more to the world of literacy and so much more value to including people in that. You guys must see that every day. It's not just about work or training.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big part of it, but it's also about people's self-esteem and who they are. You know, if we have a community of people who feel terrible about themselves or feel like they're hiding this kind of shame because they didn't finish school or they can't read, what kind of community is that?
Right.
If we can have people empowered, that they're able to read and they feel good about themselves and that they can accomplish something, how is that's going to translate to their children, to their families? I just think it makes for a really stronger community.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's especially with our population, with the homeless, and the backgrounds that they have, and it's just so important for that self-esteem.
Yeah.
To just move ahead, to be a role model for their children, to help each other, and just to kind of flow back into the community, you know, as a really substantive person.
Sure, sure.
But
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say too, Stephen, that's why Reading Works certainly operates as a collective, so that we're not only getting through to the community in the Detroit metropolitan area, but we want to make such a great impact that we get through the federal policymakers, state policymakers, and corporations as well, and let them know the plight of the issue in terms of adult literacy.
And the importance of investing in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's where the fight is right now.
Absolutely.
There's a disinvestment that's going on that we need to push back against. I want to thank you guys for being here, and
thank you.
Let's get to work on that goal. 5 years, we'll make it, right?
Oh, we'll make it,
That's
certainly.
Right. That's right. Just ahead on American Black Journal, a special honor for the late engineer and inventor Elijah McCoy. That's next, right after this look at some important moments in Detroit's Black history.
I'm Kim Trent with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1979, Danielle Luna died of an apparent accidental drug overdose. She was 33 years old and the first Black woman to grace the cover of Vogue magazine. In 1959, Dr. DeWitt Burton was sworn in as a member of the Wayne State University Board of Governors. He was the first Black man in Michigan to serve in the post. And in 1971, Motown Records released What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history, taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
Every year, Ford Motor Company partners with the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History to present the Ford Freedom Awards. This year's celebration focused on the achievements of past and present technology entrepreneurs. The late engineer and inventor Elijah McCoy was honored for dedicating his life to improving the African American community and the world at large. McCoy was raised in Michigan and received nearly 60 patents for his inventions. He died in Detroit in 1929. Here to tell us more about this year's event is the president and CEO of the Wright Museum, Juanita Moore. It's good to have you back on American Life Journal. You're like a staple here.
Always
when I don't have you, I have your wonderful staff here to talk about stuff that's going on at the museum.
For the opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's always great to have you guys here. So tell me about this year's Ford Freedom Awards.
Oh, this year was amazing. It really was. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to not only honor Elijah McCoy, and have people really bring attention to him. You know, people know who he is,
but
they
sort
don't
of know.
Yeah, because the real McCoy.
Right.
Everybody knows. They know the term, the
Yes.
real McCoy.
Yes.
And to then have people be able to connect it to this Michigander,
right.
and to what he contributed so greatly to technology,
Sure.
especially at a time when it's so important and prominent in all of our lives.
Yeah, and we should tell the story. The real McCoy, that comes from a product he invented that had several knockoffs.
Yes.
That were competing with it, and people would say, "Well, I don't want that substitute.
I want the real McCoy.
I need the real McCoy."
Because at the time, of course, you know, he was the son of his parents had been enslaved, and they escaped and moved to Canada.
Uh-huh.
And so during that period of time, it was, although he was very much an engineer, it was very difficult for him to be able to get patents in his name and,
right.
and take ownership. So oftentimes the people that he worked for would take the credit for the work, and so he was not able to really start his own business until much later in life. And by that time, you know, it was really too late. Much of the work that's owned by someone else, and so they would start to then try to create knockoffs of what he had done, because he really didn't, you know, it wasn't in his name, and he didn't have ownership of it.
Right.
People say, no, I don't want that. I want the real McCoy.
I want the
real thing. The real McCoy has stuck with us all of this time, and has become a term that we're all familiar with when we want something that's real.
That's
and
genuine.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a great metaphor, also for the sort of story of African American history in technology and engineering. That need and that drive to be able to be genuine and real, and not pretend that this is not part of American history or our history.
And because of that history, so many of our young people now believe that, you know, that things that were invented by African Americans were invented by someone else.
By somebody else.
Yeah, they don't attribute that to people like them.
Yes.
So this whole event was very, very important, not only to help them understand that history and understand that by knowing the history and understanding who those people are, that what's possible in their lives, but to give them some current, real day models so that they could talk to and meet with and hear their stories.
Yeah.
And that was really what was phenomenal about this whole event.
Right.
The young people that came in.
Well, and Ford has been working, the Ford Foundation, the Ford Family Foundation, I should say, has been working in this space for a good long time now, really trying to push that idea of STEM and STEAM education for minority kids who so often either don't see themselves as having that opportunity or still are told that it's not for them.
Absolutely. You know, the Ford Motor Company Fund actually has been working with us for 17 years on Ford Freedom Awards. And this year, because Ford itself sees itself as a technology company, and it saw that it was really good, important theme for them to support. And so we are so grateful that they did. And help bring in all of these wonderful people. Yeah. Laura Weidman Powers, whose company is called Code 2040, because by 2040 she wants to go out of business because she would like to. Her company is one that provides scholarships for Black and Latinos to go into engineering and to go into projects out in Silicon Valley. and also for, so that's important. The Kapoors, they also provide, help create a pipeline for young people to go into studying engineering and all the STEM areas. But more importantly, they do social entrepreneurial projects. So they provide capital for young people that want to go into business and got really, really great ideas. They have a summer camp that they do, and 90% of their kids, 99% of their kids go to college out of that. So it's, it was really stimulating for all of the students that participated. We had about 1,200 students that came to the essay, the student lecture series that morning, and had amazing questions. The students that participated, almost 800 in an essay contest, had to write an essay about an app that they would create to solve a problem, that either they or their fellow students would have. And I mean, the ideas were just astounding.
Yeah. I was a judge for one of the Ford Foundation's contests for young people designing apps a couple of months ago, and I was absolutely blown away, not just by the ideas that these kids came up with, which were fabulous, but also the execution. In a few days, they were able to build these apps, and I was able to use them to see how they worked. I mean, it's really amazing how quickly their minds just sort of tune into this stuff and make a difference.
Yeah. Barrington Irvin, who was the youngest and the first African American to fly around the world solo, built his plane, but grew up in Miami, said that he never expected to live a long life. He was gonna, he gave up a scholarship, a football scholarship, to Florida, because he met an airline pilot who became his mentor. And he built this plane, and now he has a lab, a flying lab, in which he puts kids in the plane and drives and flies them around with a lab doing science projects. Is that not amazing?
Yeah, look at that. That's really something. So you have some other things going on at the museum that I want to talk about in the last little part of our segment here. You guys are going to be on television, celebrated as the mysteries of the museum, correct?
Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And our 50th birthday too.
That's right.
What a great birthday present.
Tell me about what that show is.
Well, actually, we are going to once again showcase Garrett Morgan's gas mask. We have that gas mask as part of our collection.
Yeah.
And so we're going to showcase that on this show.
Yeah.
And
when is the show scheduled to air?
Actually, it's going to begin airing this weekend.
Okay.
So they will show it several times. So
and it's on
the Science Channel.
The Science Channel. The Science Channel. There you go. Yeah.
So
or the Travel Channel.
Travel Channel.
The Travel Channel. I was like,
Science.
what's the Science?
See, well, we're talking about science and technology, so that's
right.
embedded in
it's on the Travel Channel.
Yeah.
And that's going to be wonderful exposure.
Absolutely,
for the museum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because once people come to see Garrett Morgan's gas mask, they're going to get to see lots of other things.
Other things that we have, right?
Our exhibition in Still We Rise, which is 20,000 square feet, that takes you from prehistoric Africa to modern day Detroit, and actually, really, it is one of a kind.
Yes.
In the country, and so we are really excited about that. Because it's our 50th anniversary, we now have an exhibition on Dr. Wright. We will have an upcoming exhibition called Inspiring Beauty on 50 years of the Ebony Fashion Fair. And while that's about fashion, and the other important thing about this exhibition is that when Ebony Fashion Fair was traveling around, it was the one major event in the African American community that kept other organizations alive, because it was their major fundraiser for the year.
Fundraiser, sure.
So it really
it's one of those things that we don't really always remember, right?
Yeah, we just think about, oh, it was fashion. Yeah. It was, but it was the fundraiser to keep many of our social and social service organizations, our religious organizations alive, to continue to do the work in the community that they did.
Yeah. The other thing that you have coming up at the museum is the celebration of Malcolm X's 90th birthday.
Yes, 90th birthday on May 19th. And we want everybody to come out. It's going to be terrific. The last poets will be there to perform.
Right. That's wonderful. And that's, I always talk about the sort of importance of demystifying people in our history. No one is more deserving of that or more in need of it, perhaps, than Malcolm X. And I would imagine you guys will also have some great stuff from his time in Detroit in that.
Absolutely, we will. You know, we have a small collection of Malcolm X papers that will also be on exhibition. And the other really terrific thing about that is that because Malcolm X there's so many people in Detroit that personally knew Malcolm X and connected with him and was a part of his work. So you have these first person stories, which is the most important thing in history. Yeah. The first person,
right?
You get
that real, authentic telling of what happened,
absolutely.
Not just a story about.
So you have that you will have that as part of this celebration. So we invite everybody to come out on May 19th. It's going to be an amazing, amazing evening.
Yeah. All right.
And there are lots of other things going on with our 50th anniversary. So visit our website.
Yeah, all year you
absolutely.
Guys are
we have the Call of the Drum coming up in July. It's a great 2-day drumming festival. Of course, our African World Festival, the third weekend in August, which is going to be amazing as well, as always. You know, we just go on the website and get
and go visit. That's the important thing.
Well, I think if you don't come to visit, you will really be disappointed. We have storytelling this coming Friday.
Yes.
The Secret Society of Twisted
Storytellers. That's a wonderful event if people have not been to it.
Yeah.
All right. Always great to have you here and catch up with what's going on at the museum.
I'll see you at the museum.
Yes, of course you will. You'll always see my kids there. They go more frequently than I do.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Plus, you can now hear our program on WDET 1019 FM. We'll see you next time. That was great. Yeah, my kids.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.